ready for any of this. But she did know one thing. She was happy he was finally out from behind bars. His debt to society had been paid, and he was now free to make a fresh start. And she would do whatever she could to make this transition easier for him. She just didn't know if she could be a good wife again, or if he was ready to be a husband. They were both way out of practice. Max raised his eyes to meet Maya, and she mustered a warm smile. Max, with a muscled arm around Vanessa's shoulders, led his daughter back over to her mother. There was a slight hesitancy on Max's part when they reached her. He was clearly debating whether he should go in for a passionate kiss, or just a hug, or, most awkwardly, a forced handshake. Max chose a quick, friendly peck on the cheek, nothing too loaded.
"Nice to see you, babe," he said. "Thanks for showing up."
Maya nodded, taking him in. "Of course." She studied his apprehensive face. Yes, he had aged. There were some crinkles around the eyes that she hadn't seen before, not even at their monthly visits at the prison. She wanted to keep a comfortable distance, but she now found it incredibly hard, not with him standing so close to her, looking so nervous and vulnerable, waiting for her to make the first move. Maya couldn't take it anymore. She finally reached out and grabbed him by the shoulders, pulling both him and Vanessa toward her and into a tight family group hug. That's when the waterworks started. Maya found herself crying, sobbing, overcome with relief and, yes, happiness.
"I love you,"
Max whispered softly in her ear. She nodded, tensing up a bit. He could feel it. She could almost hear him berating himself in his mind for going too far too soon. But the more he held her, the more she relaxed in his warm embrace, until she was finally able to say it back to him. "I love you too." She had made a promise to him to try to be a family again, and she was going to work hard at keeping that promise, praying it would all work out the way it was supposed to in the end. Vanessa squeezed Max one more time before breaking the hug. "Come on, Dad. Let's go home." Chapter 2. A pleasant, polite assistant who had introduced himself as Chad ushered Maya and her partner Sandra Wallage into the spacious office of South Portland High School Principal Carolyn Williams, who sat behind a large oak desk adorned with family photos and stacks of papers. "Can I get you ladies coffee?" Chad asked sweetly. "Yes, please. Black, thank you," Maya, the caffeine junkie, quickly answered. Sandra shook her head. "I'm fine, thank you, Chad." He nodded slightly and scooted out as Principal Williams stood up and extended her hand. "I appreciate you coming in on such short notice, ladies." "No problem at all," Maya said, shaking the principal's hand before taking a seat. Sandra followed suit. They were both excited. They hadn't had a paying client in weeks. Bills were due. They needed work. Of course, Sandra was fine financially. She never had to worry about bills. This was more Maya's constant concern. The ominous message from Principal Williams on the office voicemail that morning suggested she needed their expertise in solving a serious problem. They were reasonably certain that there was no issue with their own kids, who were both students at the school, since the principal had not contacted them at home, choosing to phone the office instead. "How can we help you?" Maya asked, striking a professional tone. Principal Williams sat back down in her chair and sighed. "Well, I'm in a bit of a bind. One of my teachers, Dory Baumgarten, is having hip surgery next week, and Stan Lennox, he's the father of Kevin Lennox, a senior, had to go out of town unexpectedly for work, leaving me high and dry." Maya and Sandra exchanged confused looks. Realizing the two women had no clue what she was talking about, Principal Williams plowed ahead. They had both agreed to chaperone the senior class trip to Washington, D.C. next week, and now they have both pulled out at the last minute. Williams calmly explained. "Wait, what?" Maya asked, pivoting back to the principal. "I was hoping you two might be open to taking their places." "As chaperones?" Sandra gasped. "Yes, it's a 4-day excursion, led by our history teacher, Fern Wiggins. You know Fern, she's such a lovely lady, and she's been planning this trip for months. She had a devil of a time raising the necessary..."